The median home price in the Woodlands, Texas went up $60,000 last year. Does that surprise you, or does that line up with what you've heard in the news or maybe even seen in the North Houston real estate market? On today's video, we're going to explore the past data of 2024, and I'm going to give you my market predictions for 2025. Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Chase Giles, and I'm your go-to realtor for all things the Woodlands. I live here, I work here, and I get to help families relocate here each and every single day. First, let's take a quick look back. There's been a lot of demand this past year in 2024, and as I said, the median home price went up $60,000. It went from $529,000 all the way up to $590,000. Now, this is the median. The average home price in the Woodlands is about $740,000. In 2024, we also saw an increase in transactions by right around 10%. It went from 1,600 to just over 1,700 homes sold. This does include single family and townhouse condos located right here in the Woodlands proper. Our days on market median was 30, with an average being right at 60. We saw an average price per square foot increase of about 6.3%. Looking at these numbers and comparing them to historical averages, this still tells us that we are very much so in a seller's market. Despite the sort of unknown outcomes of the election or the economic environment and the fluctuations in interest rates, the Woodlands continued to see demand. A lot of that demand that we saw was consistent with the amount of people that were relocating here from out of state, with the amount of employers that were moving here, and with the low inventory that we saw. We're still seeing people that are locked in to their homes because of their low interest rates, afraid of increasing their monthly payments, even though they still need some more space. So people feel almost trapped. That results in low amounts of inventory. So when a good home does come on the market, the price can get driven up to a little bit higher of a sales price. This past year, with our own clients and just keeping our thumb on top of the inventory and the market here in the Woodlands, we saw that people were often really strict about their budget. They knew what their price point was. They knew that they could have some flexibility within that. But when a good house came on, it still may have been competitive, but we were not seeing those really high over asking price bids like we saw in the COVID times, 2020, 2021. People kind of ratcheted their budget down so they knew how much they could afford. There were a lot of sideline buyers as well, people that maybe were on month-to-month leases or had just continued to save being in their smaller home, and they were looking for that next move-up home. So despite the election happening in November and some uncertainty in December with interest rates, we actually saw a lot of demand at the end of the year with some listings coming on. That probably resulted because people were either getting relocated outside of the Woodlands. There still is obviously, death, divorce, and distress where somebody has to sell their home because of their life circumstances. So when those homes did come on, they went quickly, whereas historically speaking, those kind of after Halloween, the later fall, early winter months often had a lower amount of demand and supply. So what does all this mean for 2025? Before I talk about my opinion about what I think is going to happen in the North Houston market, I do want to reference some really smart economists and what they have to say. Lawrence Yun, who is the chief economist for the National Association of Realtors, took a look at the unemployment, the new jobs, inflation, and inventory, and he said, what do we think is actually going to happen this next year? The first is that they believe the number of transactions is going to actually increase about 9% to about 4.2 million transactions across the US. He finishes his report off by also saying that he believes that roughly there's going to be about a 2% price appreciation throughout the year. Also referencing the Fed's optimistic outlook on interest rates, this would hopefully continue to drive demand. Now, that's on a national level, but let's talk about what we're going to see here in the Woodlands and my predictions. Prediction number one is that families relocating from out of state are going to continue to do so. There's some big powerhouse employers like Exxon, the Medical, Chevron that are still relocating not only their facilities, their headquarters, but also lots of families. A lot of these big companies have actually purchased other companies and are consolidating them right here in the North Houston area. There's a lot of inventory in North Houston and supply actually because of a lot of these new construction communities that are popping up in the peripheral areas. But why the Woodlands? Why would it continue to increase in value? And it's the reason that you maybe are already living here in the Woodlands area. And it's because we have great schools, low property taxes, a high quality of life. So those families that are earning lots of money with their high paying jobs are looking for those similar things, and they want those established communities that have easier access to the amenities that they want whenever they're moving here, as opposed to maybe the newer communities that are a little bit further out having to drive in. Now, this isn't just for families that are relocating. If you have the flexibility with work from home schedules, people still want to live here in the Woodlands. Often in COVID days, we saw people were moving for maybe political reasons, but recently it's been because of economic reasons. People want a larger home, so they often think Texas for that with good value. So if you're moving from California, New York, New Jersey, and even Florida in some cases, Texas becomes kind of a destination spot for that value, where you can work from home, but you're still close to a lot of the amenities. We've actually had quite a few clients this year that are specifically moving to Texas because they're fed up with the cold. My next prediction is that new construction homes are actually going to start making a little bit of an impact on the Woodlands market. What I mean by that is, as this average price point continues to move further north and move higher, first-time home buyers are really not going to see the value of being in the established community that maybe they grew up in. So what they're going to do is they're going to look at some of these peripheral areas that have new homes, modern contemporary designs that are maybe a little bit more affordable. For that reason, that first-time home buyer is really no longer going to look in the Woodlands area. But what will affect the Woodlands is going to be that step-up buyer. So maybe you've lived in Houston, you've lived in the Heights, it's a lot of fun, or you've had that first starter home, and now you want to be zoned to the Woodlands schools, you want to be close to your maybe religious communities, you want to feel maybe closer to grandma and grandpa that actually live already here in the Woodlands area. That type of buyer will be moving here, and that will generate more demand. But that first-time home buyer section, I think it's starting to get a little bit more challenging from an affordability perspective. As I hinted at earlier, interest rates are a big part of what sets somebody's budget. To be honest, I think interest rates are going to probably stay right here in the mid sixes. We are seeing that early in 2025, they are inching upward a little bit. I think with a new president in office, that will probably come down a little bit, but realistically speaking, we're not going down to the fours. I would love to see interest rates in the high fives. I think that's a healthy place to be, or even right at 6%. And honestly, our clients are seeing the same things. They are becoming more and more accustomed to the norm of sixes, mid sixes, or even high 6% interest rates. If you are thinking about moving to Texas or even North Houston, specifically the Woodlands, reach out to me, because whenever you get it pre-approved with a lender, they often don't know how much the property taxes or insurance is going to be for that specific property. So a pre-approval letter can be kind of vague, because if you don't know those details, you don't know actually how much you can afford or offer on a home. So we have to monitor those closely regarding the age of the roof, the village that you're in. Do you by chance have an HOA? The Woodlands, for the most part, does not have a homeowners association fee in there, but the property taxes do vary village to village. So you need to work with somebody that knows the local market and knows those details on a really, really deep and intimate level. So reach out to us. We'd love to help and start that conversation. So what's the bottom line for 2025? If you're a seller and you want to maximize your home's value, you need to focus on preparing your home for market. We saw this all of 2024, that the homes that had great presentation whenever they were first listed were able to sell the fastest and for the most amount of money. So you need to put in a little bit more work than you think to pressure wash, landscape, maybe do some touch-up painting, declutter before you list your home. People can often tell if you're in a rush to get your home to market, and I think it's worth the extra amount of time and money spent to get it show ready for that picky buyer that may be coming along. Now, for buyers that are entering the market, you need to be ready. We need that pre-approval ready. You need to be able to act quickly. When good homes do come on the market, we are seeing that they go quickly. I know I said that the average days on market is about 30, but that is, again, the average. So those median, the middle ones, are going to be closer to maybe 14 days even, depending on the neighborhood. And I anticipate as we get closer and closer to summer, it's going to get more competitive as people's leases are expiring, as they're getting relocated here during the summer, and as more and more homes come on the market. You need to partner with somebody like our team that knows the market. They know the ins and the outs of the Woodlands area and how to navigate multiple offer situations. So that's a wrap. That's my predictions for 2025. Still a great amount of demand, but maybe things stabilize a little bit, especially after the summertime. What do you think? Did I miss something? What are your opinions? What did you see in your specific neighborhood or village? Comment that down below, and I'd love to just have the conversation. Again, if you are thinking about moving right here to the Woodlands, Texas, reach out. Down below, you're gonna see a link that'll take you to our website where we can just start the conversation, or you can scan this QR code on the screen to take you to that same website as well. No pressure at all, but we'd love to get to know you. Thanks so much for your time, and we'll see you on the next video.